Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, entitled parents and sister are demanding I not take an incredible job overseas if I'm taking my adoptive daughter. Update: entitled sister tried to pick my daughter up from school. Halloween experience from a few years ago. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled parents and sister are demanding I not take an incredible job overseas if I'm taking my adoptive daughter. My younger sister went through a pretty rough time as a young adult, drinking and doing drugs and generally being wild. She ended up getting pregnant and giving birth at age 18 when I was just a few weeks away from turning 21. She did not want the child after giving birth. She refused to even pick up the child and would leave her sitting in dirty nappies. Despite never wanting children myself either, I stepped in and adopted my newborn niece as my daughter. My then boyfriend, who I'd been with for 3 years, gave me an ultimatum, him or her, as he didn't want children either. I picked her and he left me, which resulted in me suddenly being a single mother. The first few years were rough as a single parent barely making ends meet, but I managed, and my sister had nothing to do with us. I never once hid the truth from my daughter that she was adopted, but always assured her I loved her so much and was her mummy. When my daughter was 6, my sister was finally clean and wanted to have access to her. I allowed it, but stressed she would just be an aunt to her, and she accepted this, though it's clear she struggled with the concept and sometimes acted more like a mother, which I always squashed quickly. Now my daughter is 8 and I've been offered a job in a different country. The pay is almost double my current salary and the company is helping us find a home, putting my daughter in an international school and after-school care. So of course I'm going to take it, but this resulted in my family having a meltdown about how I can't do this and how it's cruel to take my daughter away from her family and how it's not fair to my sister. My sister has told me she won't allow me move away with her and that she'll fight in court to get my daughter back. I've talked to lawyers and it seems she doesn't have a leg to stand on, as my daughter is legally my daughter, but the rest of my family is telling me I'm being extremely cruel, and if I cared about my sister I'd turn this job down. I left home at 16 and finished my education. My sister, meanwhile, is the golden child who gets away with everything. She even now lives with our parents and doesn't work. My daughter, while sad to be leaving her school and friends, is excited for the move. I've been teaching her about the country every night before bed, and we've gone to some authentic restaurants to try food from there. I've also promised her we'll fly back at least once a year to visit, and she can FaceTime/call her friends. I feel like my family are angling for me to eventually just hand my daughter back over, as if I was just a temporary filler for my sister, which will obviously never happen, and my lawyers are involved in this matter. You stepped up when none of the family did. I assume they all knew your sister was neglecting her daughter and did nothing to help the baby or help you support her after adoption. They don't deserve anything, especially now. It was best for you, and your daughter's sister has zero legal rights, and really none of the family has a right to say anything. The rest of the family were going to let her be given up to strangers for adoption when sister was deciding to give her up. Adoption means she is your daughter as if she were born to you, so she can't just take her back because she changed her mind. She has no more rights to your daughter than some stranger off the street. Adoptions can't be undone. That's also pretty entitled, thinking it's up to her to allow you to move or not. Your family should be thinking what's in the best interests of the child, not their adult daughter. It would be traumatic to take her away from you, her mom. Also, raising a kid doesn't get easier as they get older. Sure, they're toilet trained and can speak, but teenage years aren't great for parents, even with a great child. On the off chance the sister got the kid back, she'd probably abandon her all over again. While working in Switzerland in the 60s, I had a job in an international school near Geneva, and must say these are Class A+ schools. A lot of kids from UNO diplomats in that school. Best decision you can make to put your adopted daughter in an international school while living/working in a foreign country. This school was a couple miles from the city overlooking beautiful Lake Geneva. The students were very well mannered and had an above-average IQ. This sounds like too good of an opportunity to pass up. Don't pass it up because others don't like it. Your daughter will get so much benefit from this time that it's well worth it, even if your salary didn't almost double. The salary thing is icing on that cake. As for your sister, it's unfortunate that she couldn't raise your daughter, but she was fortunate that you were able to adopt and keep the baby in the family. But she has to realize that she's legally your daughter's aunt and not entitled to demand anything of you when it comes to your job opportunities or your daughter. Sis doesn't want your daughter, she just wants to control you. After all, you dared to succeed when she didn't. Golden child must always win. Update: entitled sister tried to pick my daughter up from school. For those who don't want to read, my parents and sister are trying to stop me taking an incredible job overseas as my daughter is adopted and biologically my sister's. So I got a call from the school today that a woman not on the list had came round and tried to pick up my daughter claiming she was the mother. She had claimed there was a family emergency and she needed to take my daughter home early. Now only myself and my best friend are marked down as able to pick up my daughter, and when they wanted to see her ID she got cagey and claimed she forgot it, and when they told her she couldn't pick her up without an ID she shouted at them before storming off. I have spent all day on the phone to my lawyers and my boss. My schedule is being moved ahead. I'd wanted to give my daughter a final Christmas in our current home, but it's clear that's not a safe idea anymore. Our move has been brought forward and my company is putting us up in a hotel until they help us find a home. I hope you and your daughter move overseas ASAP to finally cut that POS side of the family out your lives. Especially since they all completely ignoring that your sister cut all parental rights to your daughter, so she has no say where you and daughter live at. I'm not saying when we're leaving, but it will be soon. I wanted to get the police involved with this attempt today, but my lawyers talked me down and told me to just leave ASAP as I have that option open to me, as if I get tied up in this it could stop me leaving. I then phoned up my boss and explained the situation and they were happy to bring things forward. Your company sounds like they're really stepping up to help and support you however they can during all this, which is awesome to see. I hope all this works out for you guys and this move brings a lot of happiness into your lives. I've worked for them for a long time, they're honestly incredible. You should, at minimum, see if you can file a police report over this attempt at a kidnapping. Because that's what this is. Filing the report, even if you don't pursue it, will be very good for you in terms of long-term legal protection. Attempting to steal a child from school is highly frowned upon in family court. Good idea. I was pushing for full action as I was so angry, which is likely why they talked me out of it, but this, I'll have to talk to them again in the morning. The office is closed now. I hope this doesn't sound extreme, but I hope your daughter doesn't leave your sight again until you are ready to leave. I can't believe your sister thought she could get away with that. Good on your employer for the help, because it sounds like she's getting desperate. Good luck. Halloween experience from a few years ago. More like an entitled kid, but I remember once a kid came to my door, and his mom said he was allergic to peanuts. I have a cousin who is, so I can sympathize. I can't be fun to be left out of getting treats. I had taken that into account and gotten little bags of gummy bears. I gave one to the kid and he told me that gummy bears suck, so he ended up with nothing after he got a telling off from his mom. She was like, "This young woman went out of her way to get something you can eat, and if that's the way you treat her, you get nothing." Good for that mom. I sympathize for how much it sucks to say, hear how amazing Reese's are, but complaining at someone who made sure you could have something is not the way. Old Buddhist saying, be grateful for any gift you're given, even if you don't want it. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.